Hello, myself Dr. Soman, Professor and HOD of Department of Repertory, Anantarapan Homeopathic Medical College and Hospital, Alespada. Today, I will speak about era of regional and clinical repertory.
3 and start.
First, study the historical scenario of this regional and clinical repertory era. Now, this a very important point to remember in this era is that the time period is parallel to few important eras of history of repertory. Earlier we have seen that each era has its initial point and ending point, but this era is parallel to the dominance of Boni Hussein, to the downfall of Boni Hussein's era, emergence of Kantian era, and also emergence of post-Kantian era. And this era is even continued after the era of various computer repertories. So this era has been come in the very early in the history of 1869, where slowly the peoples have started criticizing the Boni Hussein's philosophy. But even the initial part up to 1873, whatever repertories were created, they were under the dominance of Boni Hussein. The quarrel between Puritan and logico-utilitarian schools of repertory were at the peak time during this era. And the physicians have also understood that there are certain drawbacks of general repertories, that these repertories are only limited up to homeopathic materia medica and they include only symptoms from the pure sources of materia medica. Then some specific particular symptoms of organs where could not be indexed because of limitations of general repertory, and this general repertory do not include the clinical experience of the application of various homeopathic principles on certain disease conditions. Then among this era of regional and clinical repertory, this whole historical scenario had changed the focus of repertory compilation from all systems, from all repertory of all systems, repertory of all parts, to either a repertory of single part like head, throat, mammae, or to a certain specific diseases like fever, rheumatism, eczema, liver, respiratory organs, etc. And there were also few repertories which have focused only on the special symptoms like desires, aversion, food sweat, times of remedies, and various moon phases. So this was how the shift has been occurred from focusing all symptoms, all parts to a pinpointed specific focus. And the important landmark in this era is William Jefferson Guernsey. He was the most industrious person preparing the various repertories for under various subject, and because of this reason he is also called as father of clinical repertories. Among main contribution by William Jefferson Guernsey was mainly in their 1873 desires and aversion repertory focusing on the special symptom. Then in the year 1880, a repertory of hemorrhoids, a very popular repertory dedicated to the subject of hemorrhoids, avoiding or helping in homeopathic physicians in treating such conditions without any operations. Then in 1906, by the same author in the same single year, two repertories were published by Guernsey, repertory of mastitis and repertory of throat. Then two more persons next to William Guernsey who has published more than one repertory, one by Dr. Lutz in the year 1880. They have published repertory of respiratory organs and repertory of neuralgia. Then the famous Dr. Yingling has published two repertories in the 1884, repertory of appendicitis, and this was, remember, in a very early era where the surgery was not in much advanced stages. This repertory has saved a lot of appendix at that time. Then the repertory of labor, a real gem in the field of homeopathic repertory, which will help us to conduct normal labor with minimum bad effects. Then there are certain repertories containing special symptoms like focusing only on modalities in the year 1880 by Worcester. Repertory of then few more repertories like repertory of food sweat by O.M. Drake, repertory of sensation as if this is only the repertory focusing only on the symptoms of food sweat, only on the symptoms of sensation as if by Holcomb, and it was published in the 1883. In the year 1906, Dr. C.M. Boger, the most faithful follower of Boning Hussain, was also in this love of this regional repertory or the specific repertories and has published a small very important repertory helping homeopathic physicians for selecting remedies according to the different types of moon phases and by different time aggravation and amelioration. It was really a gem by Dr. C.M. Boger, Times of Remedies and Moon Phases in the year 1906. Then few more specific clinical repertories devoted to special diseases like fever, mainly in the fever, repertory of intermittent fever by W.A. Lane and repertory of fever by S.C. Lane. Both these repertories have come in the same year, that is in the year 1883. And these two repertories were published when the today's modern science of epidemics was unable to treat the various epidemics of malaria and various kinds of fever. Then in the year 1884, a repertory of rheumatism by Perkins and a repertory of rheumatism by Pulford. These two repertories on rheumatism is really useful for treating various kinds of musculoskeletal troubles by homeopathic medicine. Then other specific clinical and renal repertories, among them the very important is a Bell's diarrhea was published in the year 1869. Repertory of eye by Berridge was published in the year 1873. In the year 1884, therapeutic of respiratory system by Vandenberg, repertory dedicated to a specific clinical condition like eczema by C.F. Millspaw, repertory of headache by Neer. This is the same Neer who has published Neer's repertory. He also could not avoid himself by making a specific regional repertory dedicated to the subject of headache. Then in the year 1899, the repertory of urinary organs by A.R. Morgan. In the year 1906, a famous work by Minton, repertory of uterine therapeutics. It was a very popular repertory and a popular book of therapeutics even today for studying the uterine therapeutics. Then the repertory of head, a repertory of head by Dr. Nerdhard, repertory by P.F. Curie. Then in the year 1908, the clinical repertory by Dr. Sheed was also very much popular. And few more popular clinical repertories in this era was clinical repertory by J.H. Clark, clinical repertory by Oscar E. Bodick, respectively published in the year 1904 and 1927. Thank you very much.